Hi, welcome back to another Heather Mac Reacts. Today we're going through a couple MIV whole stories with their updates. And if you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe because I post 5 times a week, every single week. And if you or someone that you know is into bedtime stories, check out my new channel, Mama Mac Reads, where I read my children's books that I wrote myself. Now, if you are ready, I am ready. Let's get into this first MIV whole story. This says, am I the a-hole for rejecting my boyfriend's gift because it made me uncomfortable? Ever got a gift that made you uncomfortable? OGs might remember me talking about the Christmas that my husband ruined. He, literally, I'm the hottest person in the whole world. No, I mean, I'm constantly sweating. I'm a hot-blooded person. Man got me fleece pajama pants. I'm sweating looking at them. What were you think? Mind you, we'd been together for I don't know, 12 years at this point. He damn well knew. Anywho, those pants would make me uncomfortable, so I feel for this OP. Let's see what happened to her. I, 18 female, have been seeing my boyfriend, 20 male, since November. This is my first relationship, so I'm curious as to whether I'm overreacting. We went out for Valentine's Day and agreed to buy each other silly, sexy gifts, but he bought me a chest binder for a literal chest binder for transgender people because he thought it would look sexy on me. What does that mean? What message is he sending with that gift? What was he trying to accomplish? You don't want your girlfriend to have boobs? Are they too big for you? Never heard a man complain of boobs that were too big. Stumped. I kind of laughed it off and we had a good evening, but a couple weeks ago he was over at my flat and he asked why I don't wear it, insisting that it would be cute. And I agreed to put it on for a few minutes, but that's when his attitude changed. He got really clingy and cuddly, and the affection was nice, but I'm a cisgender woman with small breasts, so it wasn't a nice experience to have them binded flat. Is it that he's not into women? Meaning he's into men, or meaning he's into little girls? Either way, I'm grossed out that you're in this relationship and you're trying to force your current girlfriend to be something that she's not. Weird and gross behavior. It kind of grossed me out, but he really seemed to enjoy it, so I decided to let it slide. But now I feel like it's getting worse. A few days ago, he asked me to wear it again after waxing my underarms for the first time. Ouch. Because he thought they would match. There you are. Sorry, y'all. I forgot the microphone again. Anyway, so it's clear to me already that this dude wants a little girl. It would match you flattening out your boobs and getting rid of all your body hair. It would be cute. Y'all, run. And kept doing this weird thing where he just kept stroking his hand over my breast when I was wearing it. I don't usually mind a bit of casual groping, but him doing it when my chest is binded just makes me uncomfortable. Yesterday was my breaking point. A parcel arrived at my house that he said he ordered as a gift, and it's a fucking purple bodysuit thing with princess written on it that he's desperate for me to wear over the binder. I briefly tried it on in the bathroom, but everything about it makes me feel sick. It feels like he's intentionally trying to infantilize me. So I told him that I hated it and that he should ask me before buying random stuff. He says I'm ungrateful and should be willing to consider his sexual fantasies. And I'm usually happy to cut him some slack, so I've agreed to wear the binder around him a bit more, but he keeps saying that I should keep the bodysuit too. I mean, even let's say this had nothing to do with sex and your husband's just bought you a sweater and he's like, I want you to wear this. Don't be ungrateful. Wear the sweater. But bitch, why? It's my body. I'll put on it. I'll clothe it how I deem appropriate. Ooh, okay. This we could stop right here. This is the bodysuit that he wanted her to wear. It literally looks like it's made for an 8-year-old who's in dance class or like gymnastics. Gross. It is in women's clothing, but I disagree. I strongly dislike having my breast flattened, but I liked the idea of him perceiving me as sexy and being aroused by my appearance, so I'm willing to do it if it fulfills his fantasy. My breaking point is just when he tries to touch me when I'm wearing the binder, and this stupid bodysuit honestly feels like he's trying to make me into something that I'm not. I'm in kidney failure and occasionally struggle with slight incontinence, which I'm open about because I don't see the shame in it, but it makes it really hard to feel sexy as is, so I'm willing to compromise to make us both feel good, but this just feels so fucking weird. So am I the a-hole? Should I accept the gift? Absolutely not. That's fucking strange, and your weirdo radar is going off, and that's why you wrote this post. You know it's not normal. You just need someone to stop gaslighting you and tell you the truth. It's not normal. It's actually pretty fucking gross, and I would be running, not walking away from that relationship. Let's see what Reddit has to say. Are you still in the return period for the boyfriend? Because he's involving you in his pedo kink without your consent and coercing you into participating. Get rid of all of it, including the boyfriend. Next says, they don't take back broken merchandise, just throw the whole man away. I mean, for real. I absolutely agree. I knew it was one or the other. He either wanted you to be a man or he wanted you to be a little girl, and it's fucking weird both ways because you're clearly a cisgendered woman, grown woman. Anyway, let's get into the update, see what happens. So I talked to him and raised some red flags that had been brought up by Reddit, and he agreed that he understood what I was getting at and reassured me that it's just his preferences, not anything nefarious. So that's reassuring. Girl, actions speak louder than words, okay? I know a lot of people were concerned that he was a pedo, but that's not the case. I told him that the bodysuit made me uncomfortable because I don't feel sexy without breasts, and he explained that he liked knowing that my breasts were binded and it turned him on, but that it was just his preferences and I didn't have to do it if I didn't want to. So we've agreed to put the bodysuit away and come back to it further down the line if we're both comfortable. I've been looking into breast bondage, and it seems to be a legitimate thing that some people find attractive. Yeah, but like, why do they find that attractive? I've been trying to find a compromise between both of our sexual fantasies and suggested that I wear a sports bra, but he thinks if I'm going to commit halfway, I should just commit to it, which I kind of agree with, I guess. No, because you're not comfortable with committing fully. You're trying to compromise, and he's like, why don't you just do what I want you to do? If you're going to do half of what I want to do, why not just do all of what I want to do? Girl, manipulation 101. And has offered to split the time between us so that we can both live out our sexual fantasies. The only problem being that this is my first relationship and I don't actually know what that means for me, so I feel like I'm just catering to his needs while I figure it out. Wearing the binder doesn't hurt or anything, it just feels weird to have my chest flattened. I previously mentioned that I have small breasts anyway, so it's not too much difference. It just feels weird. I told him I don't like the binded groping, and he's agreed to stop. He suggested that I do other things that make me feel sexy aside from having breasts, and a big one for me is shaving, so I've made an appointment for a Brazilian wax to see the difference that it makes to how I feel, although I'm literally terrified, so please leave tips on pain. And he's been very supportive of the idea. Yeah, I'm sure he was. He liked your fucking armpits shaved too, you weirdo. I mean, it's not weird to shave your armpits. I'm just saying that, like, men shouldn't really give a shit what your armpits look like and should not be, like, excited when they're, like, fresh and bare. Like, that's, y'all, come on. It's weird. We know it's weird, right? Overall, I think it went well. He's supportive of my decision not to wear the bodysuit and thinks that the wax is a good idea to help me feel feminine and sexy. He also reassured me that he bought the bodysuit because it said princess, and that's his current favorite nickname for me, and that it wasn't supposed to be anything else, but recognizes that he should have told me when he ordered it instead of when it turned up. I don't know. I don't think that I would want my partner to call me princess unless it was in like a joking way. Like, yeah, okay, princess. To actually be called princess. So you think I'm a little girl? Like, call me queen, you know? A lot of Redditors were suggesting that I break up with him, but I'm glad I made the decision to talk to him instead so that he could manipulate me some more. And I feel like our relationship has gotten better because of it. As I mentioned in the previous post, my kidneys are troublesome, so feeling sexy is difficult at the best of times, but I'm really, really hoping this helps, even if he's still a bit put out that I rejected his gift. Girl. You just gave him the opportunity to manipulate you further. That is all that's happening here. You're like, oh, well, these are my boundaries and these are his boundaries. So I think we should meet in the middle, but he totally convinced me to just meet him where he is. So, we're all happy now. Ma'am. It's clear why he chose you. This is your first relationship. You're very moldable, you're very malleable, and you're very gullible. And he's taking advantage of all of that. No, you're still not the a-hole except to yourself. Now let's see what Reddit has to say. So, I don't like this update and I can't figure out why. Because it's bullshit. You offered compromised sports bra and he says it's all or nothing. He wants you hairless and flat as a board. And neither of you get to experience the fullest sexual pleasure with each other. You get to take turns. This seems like it's not going to go well. Pre-game with Advil before that appointment. For the wax. I thought she meant to be with him and I was like, ooh. Next says, probably because pedos aren't going to say, don't you call me, I'm a pedo. That's why I was trying to infantilize you. And will do everything they can to convince you that flattening your chest and putting you in a child's leotard is some innocuous kink. OP, I really think it's best you get out before this gets even worse. Everyone has a first relationship and 99.99% of the time it ends. Just think about all the compromises you're making for him that make you uncomfortable. Do you really want to keep doing all of this? Like, what's the end game, girl? I totally agree. This update was a bunch of bullshit. One of the least satisfying updates in the history of updates. I would like to know what you all thought about that story and its updates in the comments. And let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole for being mad at my husband for saying he would pick his deceased wife over me? So when I read this title, I asked my friend who was staying here, what would happen if you were married to someone and they passed away while you were still married and then you got remarried? Who would you be buried next to? And she said, oh, the first husband, of course, your first love. And I was like, oh, okay, so you're going to ask your second husband to bury you next to essentially your ex? It's dicey, man. It's dicey because you just forget about the first woman who I'm thinking of my uncle because that's the example I used. My uncle was with my Aunt May. She passed away. They had 3 kids. They were in their 20s and stuff when she passed. And then, a couple of years later, he meets this new woman and starts dating and marrying her and sold the house and moved to Florida. And, he's just like a totally different man with a different life now. And I'm sure he's not going to be buried next to my aunt. That's just the nature of the beast. Anywho, I would like to know your thoughts on that. I feel like it would be weird to ask your second wife or your second husband to bury you next to your first spouse. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments and let's see what's happening over here. Me, 34 female. My husband, 37 male, was married once before me. She was his high school sweetheart. They started dating their junior year, survived long distance during college, and got married when they were both 23 very shortly after graduating college. She passed away unexpectedly at the age of 26 from an aneurysm, and it obviously devastated him, especially because they were extremely young. They never had children. He contemplated remarrying because he was so heartbroken, but we ended up meeting about 4 years after that. We got married when I was 31 and he was 34 and have 2 children. Last night we were at a friend's potluck gathering. Everything was going well until one of our friends brought up a new topic that had to do with relationships. She is newly divorced, so it was about her divorce. Others were chiming in with past relationships from high school, college, etc. I had said I never thought I would get married because my luck with men has always been terrible until I met my husband, and I said I felt very lucky to have him. After a little while longer, my husband brings up his deceased wife. Everyone knows he was married before me and that she passed. He was talking about her and then drops a bomb and goes, "If she walked through that front door right now, I'd pick up where we left off." Bro, you remarried. That means you leave your old relationship in the past. And now you have 2 kids with this woman, and you're like, yeah, if the first wife walked through the door, I would leave you in a fucking heartbeat. You are not my first choice. What a fucking asshole. Holy shit. Yo, I'm hurt for her. If I am being honest, I felt like someone put my heart into a blender and punched me in the gut as hard as they could. Everyone in the room could sense the awkwardness that followed. To avoid making a scene, I just laughed it off, even though I think it was still obvious that it hurt me. I just felt that if you still felt that way, then why are we married? I've never asked him to get over his wife. I have never had a deceased spouse or even a deceased partner, so I'm unsure how that feels, but I would never say that in front of my new spouse. After the gathering, we left and did not speak, and I did not speak to him the entire car ride home or barely the entire night. I did tell him that what he said hurt my feelings deeply and that we could talk in the morning once I've calmed down because I didn't want to say something mean to him. I ended up sleeping on the couch because he would not leave me alone. It's now the next morning and I barely slept. He is still sleeping. I'm not really sure what to say or what he will say. Girl, I don't even have any advice for you. This is above my pay grade. That's bullshit though, and you should not stand for it, and you should not just put up with it. No one deserves to be second string in their relationship. I mean, yeah, you could have loved that woman, but like now you love a new woman. And to say that in front of her and in front of a whole fucking party. And he said it with his full fucking chest too. He was like, oh, if she walked through that door, I'd pick up right where we left off. Like, shit, I was fucking blown away and heartbroken by what he said, and it ain't my husband. What a douche cracker. Let's see what the Reddit comments say. My wife and I are currently separated. I recently was told that her previous relationship, the bio dad of the kids I was raising, was her true soulmate and that she wishes he didn't kill himself. Haven't stopped thinking about that for 1 second. Some thoughts should never be spoken into existence. Yeah. Next says, I am very sorry to hear that. She told you that, or someone else told you. Either way, that should not have been told to you. Next says, this is the kind of feeling or thoughts that should only be said out loud to a therapist and because you're trying to work through it. If I ever felt something like this, not even my best friend would hear about it, and definitely not my partner. I am terribly sorry that you had to hear this from your husband's mouth. Yeah, it's bullshit. Okay, y'all, on to the update. This may be a long one. I also tried to reply to as many comments as I could, blah, blah, blah. Also, alcohol was not involved in the sense that he wasn't drunk. My husband is 6'3" and almost 250 pounds. He had eaten quite a bit and had 1 beer. He was practically sober. Anyway, we talked. I asked him to let me go first and to not interrupt. He doesn't usually interrupt anyway. This isn't verbatim, just a rough sketch of how things went. I also included some points some of you made without mentioning. I posted about this, of course. Me, I just want to say that I do not hate you for what you said. I understand where you are coming from. She died and it was something neither of you saw coming. I could never ask you to get over her or to forget her because I know how much you loved her. She was your first love. I do understand that if she hadn't passed, we likely would not be together and you two likely would be. I have always understood this. But to say what you said hurt my feelings and embarrassed me. And even though her coming back from the dead is impossible, if it were, you would leave me and the children. It was probably one of the worst things anyone has ever said to me. It is clear your feelings about her are still raw and it still hurts. And I want you to get counseling and I want couples counseling very, very soon. Okay, I'm gonna stop you right here. I could never ask you to get over her or forget her because I know how much you loved her. You shouldn't have to ask him to get over her because he never should have entered another relationship if he was still under her. He then apologized profusely, teared up, and said how he did not mean to hurt me and embarrass me in front of our friends. He basically said that he thought about it before he went to sleep and came to the realization that he should have kept it to himself. I mean, I can't be angry for what he thinks. He loved her and she died. His feelings are also valid here. Also said that he would never leave me and the children, and that what he said was just a poorly thought out and poorly worded statement, that he was not thinking clearly when he said it. He immediately felt that maybe it came out wrong. Yeah, real fucking wrong, asshole. I asked him how he would feel if I said that to him. He says, yeah, it's bad. I know. I shouldn't have said it. I wouldn't be happy. I know you aren't happy. I should have apologized in front of everyone as soon as I said it, or not have said it at all. I then asked him to think of the children and said, it's like you saying, hey, children's names. If my dead wife walked through the door, I'd pack my bags and never speak to you guys again. And then it really got uncomfy. After some silence, I had no idea what to say after that. He asked me if I wanted to divorce. So I asked him why he would think I would want a divorce, just to see what he would say. He says he doesn't know. I didn't answer his question and said we needed to look into counseling, that he needed to get counseling for himself, and that we would go to couples counseling. And if the answer is no, I am not interested in moving forward. This isn't 100% about the comment anymore. I need to know if he was willing to make the necessary changes and put in the work to fix what he messed up. Because if he were to dismiss my feelings or not want counseling, it means he doesn't think this was that serious and that he may not take me seriously. I also said this to him. Some of the comments also told me to take the kids elsewhere. I agreed with this because it would be difficult to get through this while also parenting. I've got a very young daughter and a son that is a toddler. They are currently with my parents for the weekend and I'll be getting them Sunday night, so this gives us time to really work. He suggested he sleep on the couch instead of me. I have nowhere else to go. I haven't told my parents because I really would like to keep this between me and him as much as possible. And, all of Reddit. Family and friends jump to judge too fast and sometimes offer extreme and harmful advice, and it's also embarrassing. Luckily, we both have very good insurance that will help with counseling. I told him that it seems like whatever counseling he got after her death was not enough and that he was not consistent with it like he should have been. With trauma like that, I personally would have been in counseling for years before I even considered remarrying. He agreed. He was only in it for about a year and then stopped once he moved away from his hometown, never got back into it. He also agreed to the individual and couples counseling, kept apologizing, kept telling me he loved me all day. It was also so difficult to be around him because he kept looking at me. I couldn't think. It was like he would try to say something and then he would just stare and not say anything. With the kids gone, there's nothing to really do except talk. So we talked again right before dinner time. He asked me if I wanted him to cook or buy something. I still was not hungry, to be honest. So I just told him he could pick something up for himself and that I wasn't hungry. And that prompted the second discussion. Realized he must feel very bad because he noticed I hadn't really eaten much all day, kept asking me to eat. I wasn't sulking too bad or anything, just doing my usual tasks, but not speaking or eating as much. And because we're home together all day, he noticed this. Asked me one more time to please eat dinner with him, so I agreed. During dinner, he told me that he looked for counselors himself and wanted to see if I thought they were okay enough and that he would keep looking. Last stretch. After all that, I told him that we can't really predict anything until we've met with therapists. I don't want him to keep saying sorry. I want to work and change, and then maybe we can move forward, but this is the first step. I don't want to just leave him. I am also not saying divorce is off the table. I think he is still hurting from her death, and his judgment is very, very clouded. If he didn't love me, I doubt he would have apologized so many times and looked for counselors on his own. A man that doesn't love me probably would have made me look or rejected going altogether. Many people were suggesting this. I do not think he doesn't love me. Thought of this myself, cried about it, thought of my children, cried more. I'm not staying for the kids. I'm staying because I want to at least try to fix. If it cannot be fixed, then at least I tried. We were also very close. Some people were asking how close we were prior to marriage, I guess as a way to gauge the difference between their relationship and our relationship. Maybe to see if he settled. He was always very romantic, caring, and sweet to me. We've never yelled at each other. When we first started dating, he would plan dates, surprise me, brag about me to his friends. So that's why I'm very confused on why he would blurt that, unless it was just very poor brain and mouth coordination. I also told him that I may get a counselor for myself. I don't think I need one. Someone suggested this, but I think he needs it more than I do. And because insurance companies are getting shittier by the year, 3 counseling bills may be pushing it. I don't know. If I do get one, it's because I don't want to potentially resent him or doubt myself. Some people were making attempts to make me doubt myself. Some people in the comments were very nasty to me. I appreciate Reddit hiding comments with many downvotes as they may be mean, but I couldn't help but click. Some of you are very mean and very nasty individuals, and I hope you find happiness one day. There could be another update in the future, not opposed to making one. Thank you all for your kind words. I've also responded to everyone that texts me, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I've also responded to everyone that texted me, which was everyone there at the potluck that has my number. 3 people. There were 9 people there, not including us. They've all basically said the same thing. They can't believe he said that. They feel bad for me, asking if everything was okay, what he said was not okay, etc. He showed me some of the texts with him and his friends, and some made me cry with how kind they were being towards me, basically telling him he wasn't necessarily wrong for thinking that, but wrong for saying it. I told him I loved him as well, and I have never not loved him, even for a second, and that I wasn't angry with him and don't want him to suffer for what he said, but I was just hurt and needed him to know that it did hurt me and him to respond how he saw fit, and we'd go from there. That's it for now. I could possibly answer more questions here if you have any, blah, blah, blah. That's it. I really don't blame you for being hurt. I think that he should fucking suffer if he's made you suffer. Why are we so worried about his feelings when he wasn't fucking worried about your feelings? And I'm not saying like an eye for an eye. I'm just saying like I wouldn't be too fucking concerned about how sad he was after the bullshit he put me through. But maybe I'm just a petty bitch. Who knows? I still say you're not the a-hole. Now, let's see what the comments say. I really think you need to invest in therapy as well, OP. Speaking for myself, this would make me insecure. Next says, therapy is why I'm still married 21 years later, but you need to find the right therapist. Shop around, pay out of pocket if needed, but if you find the right one who knows how to get you to listen, as well as say what you feel out loud to start a real conversation with your partner, things can change for the best. Honestly, it only took about a month and we were reconnected in ways that have expanded our relationship. Yes, y'all definitely all need freaking professional help. I would like to know what you thought about this story in the comments. Don't forget we have a playlist of over 500 Am I the A-hole videos up here, like binge. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!